2, 3,
Hello, all you wonderful people out there in the dark. Thank you again for checking in. I got a request from one of the subscribers to this channel asking for some more detail about some of the art that hangs in my house. Apparently they've seen some of my videos, and as I wander around, they've noticed in the background that I have some artwork, paintings, and miscellaneous nonsense. And as at the moment, our channel only has 26 subscribers, I thought at the very least I should comply with their request. So today I want to talk a little bit about the artist Fabian Perez. Now I own 6 of Fabian's paintings. Technically they're giclées. These are not original works of art. I'm not a multimillionaire, but giclée is a term that was coined, I think, in the late 80s or early 90s. It's essentially the modern lithograph, I suppose. They're massive inkjet printers that sort of capture the vibrant nature of the original painting and also give it some texture. But it's essentially obviously a copy. One step up from a print, I suppose. But anyway, Fabian Perez. So Fabian Perez, he was born in 1967 in Argentina. I believe Buenos Aires, but I'm not positive. And his style is kind of considered sort of neo-emotionalism. He paints with acrylic paint, and it's noted he uses acrylic because it dries faster. I think you'll find most of his art is also quite dark. We'll zoom in on some of these in a moment. And I think the idea behind that is it invokes a little bit of mystery. It forces you to use some of your imagination to fill in those blanks. Again, he's born in '67, so that makes him, what, about 53 years old. Now keep in mind, he's going to be coming out of in Argentina that post-Peron military regime. And from what I understand, he lost his parents at a younger age, but he was influenced by his mother, and obviously has a talent for art. And a lot of the paintings and drawings that he's done were influenced by his father, who I guess spent a fair amount of time at nightclubs and bordellos. And I think Fabian was sort of surrounded as a young boy and then a young man by the kind of women that could seduce you by simply lighting a cigarette. And I think his artwork kind of focuses on, we'll say, potentially the women of bordellos, or at least the romanticized version of women in bordellos. I became aware of Fabian Perez long ago, and it wasn't until recently that I would be able to afford even giclées. And for everyone, you know, art is obviously highly subjective, but I've always found when you see a piece of art, if it speaks to you, you're attracted to it, or evokes some sort of emotion, whatever that may be, assuming it's positive, you should purchase that piece of art. If it grabs you, you should grab it. And most of Fabian's work has always grabbed me. So I think for the next few minutes, we're going to get up here and I'll talk a little bit about each of the paintings, and I hope it inspires you to dig into Mr. Perez's past and some of his other artwork. All of it is amazing. I find him incredibly talented, and maybe even if it's not Fabian, maybe you'll find someone else that you find intriguing and it evokes some emotion. But well, that's it. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one I wanted to show you, this Fabian Perez. It's called The Story Begins. So there's his signature. This is an artist proof, 1 of 15. It's the largest portrait that I have, and you can see how quite big it is. And actually, this is a perfect one to start with because of my comment about the lighting of a cigarette and the seduction of a man. And I think the title, "The Story Begins," says it all. I think this is a beautiful painting, and again, you can see how very dark it is, so your imagination kind of has to take over. I'm not sure of the year of this painting. I think it's 2012, 2013, but I'm not positive. But on to the next one. So this one here is called "Waiting for Romance," and again, you can see his signature. And this is number 23 of 150. And this is one of my favorites just because, again, you see the darkness on the right side of the painting is slowly overtaking this old man as he waits for romance to return. And obviously, eventually, the darkness is going to overtake him, and no romance from him, as I say. Now, this is my smallest painting, or giclée, and I believe this is from like 2013 or so. Just to give you an idea from a size standpoint, you can see just about how big it actually is. But on to the next one. So this one is called "Renee on the Bed 3. The one thing that's unique about this is his signature, and this is number, I think this is number 3 of 35 or 7. And you can see his signature there. It's in black, not red, but this is also a good one. Kind of shows you some of the texture that the giclée creates. I think this is 2012, 2013 as well. It's one of the first ones that I bought. I bought it at auction. It is one of my favorites. But again, "Renee on the Bed, number 3. Again, you can kind of see the giclée captures, in theory, some of those brush strokes. All right, on to the next one. This piece is called Georgina, and again, you can see we're back to a red signature, and this is an artist proof, I think 11 of 50. And again, this one, you can obviously, she's smoking, seduction. You can see some bottles in the background, but they're so subtle and difficult to see. She's laying on one of those psychiatrist couches, I believe. But again, this is 2010, 2012, somewhere in there. But it hangs proudly in my home. The name of this piece is called Untitled Young 2. This is based off Untitled 2, which was a very, very popular piece. I'll show you in a moment. I have a study, but this is essentially a self-portrait. You can see Fabian here sitting at the bar, young, kind of stoic but thoughtful. And this was always very, very striking. As you can see, everyone is looking the opposite direction. One of my most favorite pieces, again, red Fabian signature. This is artist proof 2 of 15, so somewhat rare. I got a bad glare there, but again, you can kind of see a little bit of texture on the canvas for the giclée. But the original, not young, old, was so very popular, he did another one, young, and I was able to grab one. The next one we're going to go see, you will note some similarities, but it's called a study. Let's go take a look at that one. So this one here is called Untitled 2 Study, and like the previous painting, you can see the fellows all looking one direction. It's called a study because they're just focusing on an old Fabian, again, still thoughtful, yet stoic, facing the opposite direction. Read what you want to into that. This is the Untitled 2 portrait. is actually my favorite. It's impossible to get now. I think the originals sold for like $80,000 or $85,000, and even Giclées are impossible to get. But I got my hands on this, what they call a study, which I don't know if this was just a damaged Giclée of the full painting and they cut the corner down, or he just focused in to profit. I'm not really sure, and I don't really care. This is my favorite Fabian Perez that I currently own. And again, there's a signature, and this one is 22 of 150. But I just absolutely adore this painting. Again, you'll notice how it's just sort of dark and quiet. There's detail, but no detail. And you can kind of see some of the crisp lines, almost like he uses a blade when he paints with that acrylic paint. I don't know. So this is called Untitled 2 Study. Okay, so there are my 6 Fabian Perez Giclées or paintings. I hope you liked each one of them. Each one is special to me. I hope if you like his artwork, you can obviously Google him, or I know he has a book with a lot of his artwork. The Village Gallery in Orange County has a lot of his artwork, and a lot of very knowledgeable people to help you. But I hope something is out there that sort of sparks your heart and makes you want to invest some in art. I absolutely adore art, obviously. We will do some future episodes with not Fabian Perez this time, but I've got some Don Quixote art. I've got a Salvador Dali. We've got a Leroy Neiman. We've got some Disney art. So we can probably get 2 or 3 episodes. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it. We'll focus in on some more artists here in a future episode. But as always, in this world, when you can be anything you want to be, you be kind, you be humble, you be forgiving, and you be melting snow. Bye-bye.